What's up, traders? Welcome to this live stream here, Asia session live stream with Brandon Abass, who is about to join the call. Guys, welcome to the show, Brandon. Welcome back.
What's up,
welcome
buddy?
back.
How you doing?
Cool, man. I'm good. Look, hey, guys, we've got a slightly different show today. So he's still going to go through the charts and stuff, but Brandon's here to ask you to answer your psychological mindset kind of questions as well. So if you do want to get some advice or help on your trading mindset, then Brandon's going to obviously give you some great advice here. Guys, whilst I'm here, and I'm just about to jump off, but whilst I'm here, I just want to let you know about something that is coming up next week. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is. Brandon's actually going to feature in it, and it's something awesome here. So stay tuned for this episode coming up this week of the Trading Up podcast, and you're going to find out all about it. So please stay tuned for that. It's going to be absolutely epic, and it's happening later next week. All right, Brandon, over to you, and enjoy the show, guys.
All right, peace out, bro. Thanks. All right, guys. So everyone, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning. So what we'll do to get this thing started, let's just quickly see where we are from. What time is it by you? I am from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, and it is currently 7:02 p.m. my time. Now, y'all can just put in the chat where y'all are from, and we will, move from there. All right. What we're doing tonight, I am going to be showcasing a trade that I'm currently in. But while I'm showcasing the trade, I'm talking about a few things. I want to approach it from a mental perspective tonight, right? And basically, let me just share my screen. Let's take a look at the trading view. There we go. All right. So as of current, I am in USD JPY for buy, and we'll talk about this very briefly. Just let me know when y'all can see my screen. Yeah. I'm not sure what's happening here. Just give me a little second here. So while this is loading, here we go. So while this is loading, basically I'm in buys on USD JPY. Now here's the thing. I want to talk tonight about a concept that I find to be very potent within the industry. And the concept is actually a concept that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Bruce Lee would have said, I'm quoting Bruce Lee here, I think it's Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee said that be like water, right? Water takes the shape of its container. Now, as a trader, you need to understand that that's kind of the point, right? The point is to basically, be like water and assume the shape of your container. What do I mean by that? Basically, I want you to learn to go with the flow. Now, you're seeing here that the trade is currently in drawdown. Now, I'm in the trade. I've actually gotten into the trade prior to Asian session. Very rare I do this. Very, very rare I do this, but I digress. I'll explain the trade shortly. But something I want you to understand. There are not many different main styles of trading. And what I mean by that is you can either be a reversal trader. You can maybe trade supply demand. You can trade trend lines or continuations or whatever. But the whole idea is you're either going with the trend or against it. Long story short, right? Or unless you're trading between the trend within the ranges, right? Now, for me, this is how I think. For me, I am going with the trend per se, meaning I am not trying to go against the trend. I'm trying to basically achieve a frictionless transaction or trying to achieve a frictionless, thing, right? Basically, while I am looking for something, I'm looking for this thing where I'm not going to have a lot of friction where I have to constantly figure out, okay, well, is this the best place for me to get in? Is that the best place for me to get in? No, I want to be able to say, right, it's going up. Nothing about it says that it's going down. Let's continue with that. Now, I know that a lot of you know some red flags now raise up because you're saying, well, this dude just goes, he just buys when it says to buy. No, that's not the case. Obviously, we need to adhere to if there are things on the chart, obviously, if there are things on the chart that are telling us that the opposite direction might actually play out. And how do we know this? Let's think about it from a mental perspective. Actually, this is more common sense than anything, right? So, as we know, the market can either go up or down, right? Or it can go sideways. As we also know, the market can literally go, it can reverse. If it has been going up all the time, it can come back down. If it has been going down all the time, it can come back up. The question you have to constantly ask yourself, and this is a very important question in my opinion, the question that you must constantly ask yourself is, when it is going up and you are looking to sell because you see that it has been going up for too long, what about the market at this particular point tells you that it is going to go back down? And if you cannot answer that question, you should not be trying to sell. And I know that there might be some people here joining this live and they might be saying, well, that's common sense, right? Some people might be joining the live and saying, well, that's basic information. But there are people that are still going to do this because they're not looking at it from a common sense perspective. They're looking at it from a perspective of, oh, it's been going up for too long, so maybe it should start to sell now. No. What I want you to understand is, again, coming back to the idea of the frictionless transaction, if the market is going up and it is not showing any signs of exhaustion or rejection or reversal or anything like that, don't go against the momentum. That is my law. That is a law that grounds me. It literally keeps me alive. It keeps me afloat. So, like I said, as you can see, it might stop me out. This is the first time I've been in a live session for the Trading Nut YouTube channel, and I've been actually in a trade, right? So I'm in this trade right now, and it might stop me out. Now, as you can see, my stop loss is 10 pips. Best case scenario, I'm not hiding this from you. I'm telling you straight here now that it is a very high possibility that it could take me out. Based on the structure that I'm seeing, based on the candles that I'm seeing, it is what it is. I'll tell you this as well. From a mental perspective, there are many traders that cannot do what I'm doing here. Come on a live and talk about a loss. All right? Why am I able to do this? Because it's a part of the game. It's a part of the process. It's a part of what happens. All right? I'm actually kind of, I kind of wanted to stop me out to let you know, and I think it is actually going to do so now. I kind of wanted to stop me out in the sense of to let you know that it's okay, right? But here's the thing. Based on what I am seeing, right? Overall, it is bullish. Does anything about USD JPY at present, anything about USD JPY at present tell you that it wants to sell? Just answer that question for me. What do you think? What do you think the answer to the question is? And I would love to hear some really interesting answers, right? So it hasn't taken me out yet. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But does anything about USD JPY as of present tell you that it wants to sell? Not necessarily. Because based on what I'm seeing here, it is overall bullish, right? Over the last, I would say, since the end of May, all the way from the start of June to present day, it has been bullish, right? Based on that, the only way I would consider selling, in my opinion, the only way I would consider selling is if there was big exhaustion to this high. Okay, and I think it just took me out there. Right, nice. The only way I would consider selling is if there was exhaustion to this high, big rejection to this high, or a reversal painted at the high. So, just like that, I have now assumed a loss, very open about it, assumed a loss, and I'll tell you why I would have actually said that this was a buy. So, remember I told you again, I'm coming back to the idea of frictionless trading, right? Meaning I'm not looking to produce any kind of let's use the word friction. If the market is going up and it is showing me signs that it is going up, then I'm going to follow the market. Now, this is not the same as the trend is your friend. This is what I am doing is I am literally using the momentum to my advantage. Now, how do I know that the momentum, well, I can't even say I know because I was wrong, but how did I consider, or what made me consider the fact that the momentum was bullish? Now we're looking at these last, so you're looking at this here. This is just bullish right here, right? But I'm looking at this move, this move, this move. This is a lower high. Well, you have your lower highs here. You have a higher low, a higher low, a higher low. These are not just higher lows, but they are actually also rejections to the downside. Now, obviously, if I have rejections to the downside, right? And I'm looking for buys, this is actually pretty strong sign. It's a good sign because I don't want to have anything threatening my buy. I want to know that the downside is being threatened, not the upside. So if I'm looking for buys, these points here, these moves, not, you know, notice there's no trend. I'm not drawing any trend or anything. These moves, what they are actually doing is telling me that the bears are who are being rejected. So if you try to sell, you are running into problems in the fact that you all might also be rejected. Now, the good thing about this is, again, like I said, y'all can see my mouse? Can y'all see my mouse? Y'all see my mouse? Y'all see my mouse moving here? I'm not sure what's happening. Looking at this entry, I believe you could have waited it. Maybe. Life in UK. I think I agree. I think I agree with that. Don't worry, listen, we'll get there. No, we will get there. Right? Maybe you're right. Maybe you are right. Right? But like I said, one of the concepts today is about mentality. Right? And I'm actually, like I said, I'm actually kind of glad that it lost, because what I'm speaking about is one of, well, I will get to the concept just now, but the whole idea is I am looking for the bears to be threatened, not the bulls. Because if I am looking for buys based on my overall direction or my directional bias, I don't want the bulls to be threatened. I don't want the bulls to feel like, yeah, well, yeah, this is not a buyer's market. I want the bears to be threatened. I want the bears to realize that this is not a buyer's market. And Life in UK says something quite profound here, that uh, based on this entry, I believe that you could have waited for it to come down to the next 15-minute support and then enter for a buy. Maybe not a support per se, but yeah, maybe I could have waited. That's the interesting thing. We all say maybe this and maybe that, right? And yes, you're right. Maybe I could have waited. But that's the thing. What if what I saw at present gave me my opportunity? What do you do then? What do you do then? That's the interesting thing. What I really want to talk about is we must obviously take, one, responsibility for our actions, and two, be okay with the result of said actions. That's it. That's it. You realize that I'm not frustrated about the fact that I lost. I'm not upset. I'm not depressed. Nothing. Because that's just a part of the game. The good thing is this trade would have lost 10 pips. Now, I want you to picture this, right? If by chance I'm to get another trade or another re-entry, right, on this same currency pair, or maybe even something else, what if that trade goes 80 pips in my favor? And it's not uncommon. And if you know me, you know that that's not uncommon, right? At that point, do you think 10 pips would be frustrating? Do you think 10 pips would be a negative? No, it wouldn't. Many people will never agree that this is a good way to trade. Many people never agree because they say I would lose so many times. I agree. I will lose many times. Mythic asks, how much did I lose? I lost 10 pips, right? Or 1%, right? Many people will never agree that this is the correct way to do it, or it's an effective way to do it. But that's the thing. Many people will say that because they don't know how to hold a trade for the duration that I would actually hold a trade for. Now, I'm actually going to tell you something here now. Over the last, I would say, month, right, I have been having problems holding a winning streak. And I'm being very vocal about it. I have been very vocal about it. Right? Now, let me explain why, or why I think it is the case. Now, I have something very big coming up in a few months. Right? For those of you who know, you all know. If you don't know, you don't know. Right? But the interesting thing is I have something very big coming up in my life in a few months. And I'm saying to you that I don't feel anxious, but obviously, you know, the subconscious mind is a completely different thing. You may feel like you're feeling okay, but the thing is, in the subconscious, you might be feeling anxious. And what is actually quite interesting is that anxiety bleeds through the brain, through the eyes, straight down the arms, down to the elbows, down to the wrist, through the fingers, and onto the chart. And what is really interesting is it is okay to not be able to see the market how you normally see it. But what is not okay is not acknowledging it. And that's why I'm doing it now. I'm telling you that I am a trader. I do this. This is one of the things that I do for a living. I am a trader. And I'm telling you that I am having problems holding a winning streak right now. By show of hands, how many people can be honest or by just messaging in the group. How many people can be honest about that? How many people can be honest about not being able to hold a winning streak? Let's see who's real. Let's see who can actually say that. By no means am I telling you I'm not profitable or whatever. I'm telling you that at present time, I am not able to hold a winning streak. Over the last month or so, I've just been having problems. I win one, I lose two. I win one again, I lose three. You understand? And the whole idea behind this is a part of the process. It's a part of the game. You're not going to win all of your trades. I have a student, right? I have a student who says that she has a 85% win to loss ratio. But the beautiful thing about that 85%, and it's not necessarily beautiful, it's actually quite ugly. But with that 85% win to loss ratio, she's not able to maintain consistency. You know something? With my system, I am the exact opposite. Sometimes I might have a 30% win to loss ratio. It has been that low. I'm telling you, within this year, I'm telling you, my win to loss ratio within certain weeks has been 33%, 35%, 22%, meaning out of every 10 trades, I win in two. But you know what's really interesting about that? You know what's really interesting about that? I could lose 8 out of 10 trades and win 2. And those 2 trades that I win make up for all of those 8 losses and then some. And anybody who knows me knows that that is a fact. If you go and you look at my YouTube channel, you will see I break down my losses. I'll tell you about them. I will break them down in detail, tell you about why I entered here, how I lost, and all of that. There are key things to note here. One, being okay and being able to accept said losses. Being able to say that, you know what? You didn't get it this time. You weren't right. You got it wrong. It wasn't necessarily in the cards for you to win today. You understand? Many people cannot accept this, and thus that is when they begin to spiral. So why am I telling you this? Because I'm aware of the fact that right now I'm just not seeing the market as I should. And based on that information, based on what I'm telling you there, you know, the whole idea is because I'm acknowledging it, I know that there's things that I need to hold back a little bit. Maybe instead of taking 2 to 3 trades a week, maybe I take 1. You understand? Because I'm acknowledging the fact that I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not seeing things how I'm supposed to see it. And this is what I'm saying. I want a frictionless transaction. Friction comes when you are fighting against everything, or you're fighting against whatever it is you're dealing with, right? Trying to catch a falling knife is a friction transaction, or a transaction of friction, because you now need to use your hands and provide literal friction to stop this kinetic energy of the knife falling. That is a friction transaction. By no means am I saying that you should not try to trade reversals there, but they are significantly harder to catch effectively and consistently than a continuation because of that fact. You understand? So what I am looking for is a transaction of less friction or no friction at all. So what I am doing is I would continue to look for buys on USDJPY until I see a reason that USDJPY is going to sell. That's it. Now, people might ask, what are my rules? What are my rules? So I've developed a very simple system. It's basically using moving averages as a precursor of sorts to tell me when I should be paying attention to the market. Again, I know now red flags raising up. Oh God, we have a moving average strategy here. No, let me make something avidly clear. I'm not going to give you some magic secret moving average period numbers and the best moving average. No, I'm telling you flat every single moving average period you can use, and if you understand that the way that they work, I'm telling you this is going to work. Right? It's not going to work 100% of the time, but that's the thing. We're not trying to get it to work 100% of the time. We're not interested in the 85% of the time that it works. We're interested in the 20 that it does. The 80% that it doesn't, I'm losing 10 pips. The 20% that it does, oh, trust me, that 80 pips is a joke. Right? It's a joke. Right? So what I do, simple. All I'm doing is I'm waiting for momentum to be shifted back into my favor. So by comparison, so let me show you this here very quickly. In a case like this, right? Sorry, my bad. In a case like this, so you have bearish momentum here, bullish momentum here. I don't have enough rejections to the downside based on what you would have seen here. I don't have enough rejections to the downside to tell me that, hey, yes, the momentum has shifted back into my favor. Whereas here, I'm looking at it. I have this one and this one and this one. I have multiple confirmations telling me that, yes, at this point, USD JPY looks like it has been constantly and consistently rejecting the downside. So now is a good time for me to consider looking to take advantage of the momentum. Then I'm going to look at the current or the last, I would say the last few hours, right? No trend lines, nothing. You don't necessarily need them. I'm looking at the last few hours. I'm looking at the wicks. What are the wicks doing, right? People always ask, or people always say, oh, I trade price action, but yet they're drawing trend lines. Price action or pure price action is understanding what the candles are doing. That's it. What is the candles doing? Or what are the candles doing? Right? This is price action is the action of price. And how do you weigh price? By looking at the candles or the bars or Renko bars or line graph or whatever. These candles are showing me wicks to the downside here presently, right? So I'm looking at all of that. Here would have actually been a pretty safe entry as well, but this one might have also stopped me out. But I digress. Basically, what I'm doing here, right, is once these EMEs have crossed, then I'm saying, right, the momentum has shifted in my favor. Now, all I need is a candle to tell me that, yes, the momentum has been rejected to the downside again. This is a pretty good and safe area to enter. Now, if you look, pay attention. If you look right where I entered, right, and I know some of my students may be joining and you're probably wondering why I entered here. Don't worry. If you look, the trade actually did go plus 10 in my favor, right? So meaning I could have taken that 1% and then I could have gone with that. But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the big move. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because it is what it is. It is what it is. Sometimes you're going to lose, sometimes you're going to win. I'm not interested in the times that, it just doesn't work. And that's the problem with traders. Traders tend to get so consumed by the fact that they have to have a strategy that wins all the time. You understand? I can assure you that having a strategy that wins all of the time, if it is you doing a strategy that wins all of the time, I'm telling you, let me tell you what the problem with that is. You either are some kind of God-sent trader, right? And maybe you are, or you are using very poor risk management. That's just my take on it. One of those two things. I can tell you that I'm not a God-sent. I'm not an oracle. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a guru. I'm none of these things. I don't even like when people call me a mentor, right? I am just a normal trader explaining to you why I do and make the decisions that I make, right? So I'm telling you that I'm not a God-sent, right? But I do have proper risk management. So in this case, I lost 1%. Cool. Next. That is what I wanted to speak about. So that's what I'm telling you from a mental perspective. Even if this trade won, I would have still touched on this today because the whole idea is more to make you understand that losing is it's just a transaction, right? I want you to look at it as a business expense. As you know, trading is a business. It's not to be treated as a hobby. So that being said, look at this and on your balance sheet at the end of the month or the end of the week or whatever, whenever you're checking your P&L, your profit and loss, look at it as a loss. This is a business expense. In business, there will always be profit and loss. You're not expected to win and win and win and win and win, right? You're expected to have some losses. Don't get consumed by them. That is where traders begin to struggle and spiral. Because then when they go into losing streaks, like I'm in right now, well, I wouldn't say I'm in a losing streak. I'm telling you that I can't hold a winning streak. So I might win, then lose two, and then win again, and then right. So I'm not in a losing streak, but I can't seem to hold a win streak right now because of the anxiety of this event that's happening in my life. And I'm telling you, when traders have poor risk management, or they're not adhering to the fact that they cannot win every single trade. When that's a case, or when that's a thing, when they do begin to lose, and it is inevitable that it will happen, when they do begin to lose, you know what happens? They begin to spiral, because then they start to think, oh gosh, my strategy not working. Oh gosh, it's not working. Now I need to find something else. Am I wrong or am I right? How many times have you thought that as a trader? You start to just lose, and then the first thing that comes to your head is that your strategy is not working. You notice I've lost. By no means am I telling you that my strategy don't work. It's an edge. Once there's an edge, that's it. That's an effective strategy. How many times have you gone into a losing streak and then you began to spiral right? You began to spiral and you start to think, wow, this strategy isn't working for me anymore. I need to figure out something else. I need to do something else. I need to change it. How many times? Be honest. Be honest. Don't if you're not gonna be honest with me or be honest in public, be honest with yourself. This is what I'm telling you, that this is more of a mental class, because here we're not dealing with the trading, Listen, I'm showing you a loss that I've done, that I've taken, that literally live happened right in front of you, right? And I'm showing you and I'm telling you that, something, that is not what makes traders good or bad. What makes traders good or bad is their ability to not only recover, but resume as normal. That is it. Recover from the loss and resume as normal. Not recover from the loss by using a different strategy. Come on. Come on. We all know that there's somebody who does that, or so we all know somebody who does that, or maybe even you do it. You understand? Maybe even you do it. So the reality is, I want you to remember it is a frictionless process, so it should be as frictionless as possible. Meaning, the whole idea is go with the flow. Be like water. According to Bruce Lee, be like water. Right? Ken says 10 loss streak with the ECR, which is the system that I've created, made me think that. Now, trailing a trade that is moving 200 pips in my favor. This is exactly the point. I'm going to put this comment up on the thing, right? So Ken has a 10 loss streak with the ECR, meaning out of 10 trades, he would have lost. He has a 0% win rate, right? But then he has one trade that is moving 200 pips in his favor. Full trust in the process now. If Ken had a 10 pip stop loss on every one of those losses, 10 losses in a row, I want you to think about this. This one trade that is 200 pips in his favor has made up for those 10 losses and then 100 pips on top of that. That is exactly what I do. And I know that Ken knows that because Ken is one of my students. You understand? So that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Excuse me. What I want you to remember is not about how much you win or how much you lose. It is about how big you win and how small you lose. In the grand scheme of things, this 10 pip loss here on UG means literally nothing to me. It means literally nothing. Because I know that if I capture one, I just need one. That is it, just one, to move positively in my favor. 50, 60 pips, that's 6% back because of how tight or how aggressive my risk reward is. Does that make sense to y'all? How many pairs do I trade? Good question. So I think we can basically start the questions now, because I know many people might have questions. Demon, I hope I'm saying that name correct. How many pairs do I trade? I tend to trade almost anything. I tend to draw the line at stocks, but all the Forex majors, minors. I also tend to try to draw the line at exotics. So like USD ZAR and Euro Hong Kong dollar, or oh gosh, sorry, Euro Hong Kong dollar, any of the exotics. And the reason why I would tend to
Sorry, folks. I've just been messaged by Brandon. It looks like his computer's just completely died. So unfortunately, it looks like the stream has ended prematurely. I'm not even sure where he got to. Let me just have a quick look at the chat here. So his whole computer has died. Let me just have a look at see what you guys have said. Alrighty ho. What happened? Frozen. Okay, Frozen. Candelora, yes. It's not gone well. Okay, so the last thing we got to was how many pairs you trade. You avoid GJ. Spiral revenge trade. Is he coming back? It looks like he might be coming back. The stream's still going. Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm just having a look through the chat here.
Yeah,
Trying
bro.
to yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure what happened there.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Candelora.
Yeah,
Right.
oh my
So
God,
you're
I'm
you're
not
good to
sure.
go again?
Yeah, so I'll just answer questions for the time being here, and then we'll call it even.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we would have lost a few people along the way. So
Probably,
sorry about
yeah.
that, guys.
My
Okay.
apologies, guys. Yeah, so I was talking about right. So I was talking about the pairs that I trade. I just trade like anything, like I said, but I tend to try to stay away from the exotics and stuff. I draw a hard line by stocks, right? And I don't trade Euro NZD and AUD NZD. Everything else is fair game. Yeah. Any other questions? I think I'll just probably end it here. I'm really not sure what happened with my computer there just now. Yeah. Any other questions? Anything anybody wants to ask or add? Yep, I am from Trinidad. That's correct. That is correct. All right. So I think yeah, I don't think we have any other questions. I think we should be good. Anybody? Anybody? No? I don't think I want to try to run through any pairs. Um oh, that's a good question. Let me put that one up. Do you have any tips to let winners run? Good. So that's a good question. So one of the biggest things that, in my opinion, I have realized is, they say when you try to watch paint dry, it takes really, really long to dry. They say when you watch time, it tends to pass a lot slower. One of the biggest things, and I even spoke about this morning, one of the biggest things we do as traders is as soon as you enter the trade, every 5 minutes, you open it back empty for on your computer, or empty 5 or C trader or whatever. You open it back to see what the trade doing. You've entered the trade. So it's only going to do one of three things. It's either going to win, lose, or draw. So here's the thing. Let it do what it has to do. I would say check on the trade every hour. All right, every hour, and see what it does. All right, that's the first thing. The second thing, in my opinion, a big thing that you can do is don't try to put your stop loss to break even too soon. This is a big, big, big misconception. Many people, many people say as soon as the trade goes 10 pips in profit, they say, right, stop loss to break even. It's now a risk-free trade. No, it's not. It's risk-free in the sense that you can't lose any of your equity, but there is still a risk of losing profit. Remember, the goal is not to be at break even. The goal is to build the account. So if you put your stop loss to break even too soon, yes, it's risk-free in the sense of no loss of equity, but there is still a risk of it coming back, tapping your stop loss in profit at break even or whatever, and then going in your favor. So the what I would say is try to refrain from moving your stop loss to break even too soon. A good rule of thumb is wait for price to hit your first target before you move your stop loss to break even. That's what I do. It sounds really counterintuitive, but you know something? If everybody doing everything else and it's not working, maybe try something different and see what it does for you. Right? That's basically what I do. When price hits my first target, that's when I will move my stop to break even. And then when it breaks that first target, then I would typically begin to trail my stop loss into profit from there. I hope that makes sense. Does it make sense? I hope it does. All right. Cadalora asks, how many trades do you open each time? Good question. So this obviously highly depends on the amount of setups that we have, right? So if, let's just say tonight I was looking at USD JPY, CAD JPY, and Euro CAD, right? I was looking at these three things, and all three of them presented an entry, meaning all of them gave me my momentum, they gave me my rules, they gave me my bias, they gave me everything. And then they decided to give me an entry, meaning I am cleared to enter the trade. That being said, what I would do, I could take all three of those trades, but I have to split up all three of those trades in 1%. So each trade will be about 33.33%, right? So I could take all, but they must add up to 1%. At no time should you be risking more than 1%, right? So let me give you another example. Let's just say you took only one of those trades, USD JPY, and you took that at 1%. But then hour later, you see Euro CAD setup. You can't take that because you're already at your threshold of 1%. So you have no choice but to basically make sure that USD JPY is either deep in profit now, where it's no longer any risk of 1%, meaning you clear 1% risk. No, I mean 1% reward, meaning, so all right, so with a 10 pips stop loss, if it goes 10 pips in your favor, you've cleared 1%, right? If you can make sure that you secure that 1%, then you can go into the Euro CAD because now you're not risking 1% anymore. You understand? But obviously at that point, you have to wonder, if you clear and you secure that 1%, what are the chances of it coming back and stopping you out and then going? So it's a kind of trade-off, right? So for me, what I do, if I see only one, so like let's just say I see Euro CAD, right? And I see Euro CAD and it looks really, really good, really, really heavy and safe for an entry, I take it at the full 1%. And if I see something else throughout the course of the night, I'll literally completely disregard it, even though it might be the one that actually works. That's it, right? Another thing is, how much percent should you risk per day? This is a very good question. I know you all didn't ask, but it's a question that I know some people maybe want to ask or can't put into words. In my opinion, a beginner should not go more than 2% per day. And that being said, you shouldn't even be risking 1% per trade as a beginner. You should be literally risking 0.5%, right? So that means 0.5. So if 1% is equal to 1 standard, you should be using 0.50. You understand? With a 10 pips stop loss, 0.50, that's how you should be doing it. That's how I would do it as a beginner. But for me, I would risk no more than 3% per day, right? And that's fine with me, right? And actually, sometimes it doesn't even get to that. You understand? It doesn't even get to that, right? Good. So, KZ Chilu says, what's your trading style? Good question. So I've created my own style based on information that I've grabbed from everywhere, right? And this is something I tend to try to get people to do very often. Yes, going on YouTube, on Google, and wherever is good to find a trading style, right? You can find many styles, many different strategies, and many different ways of approaching the market. You can find it online, yes. But what I will highly advise that you do is inject your own personality into said style, whatever it is. Because remember, trading is a reflection of self. So if you cannot inject yourself into the strategy, you're going to have a lot of problems applying it. Because remember, the whole idea is you interacting with the strategy. You understand? So for me, my style is things that I would have grabbed about traps and manipulation and reversals and momentum and trends and all these different kind of things. And then I have put my own personality on it in terms of what I would like to see from the market. And that has what has built my edge for me. All right. And again, just being clear, being very transparent, that edge is not an edge that is going to be able to be exploited every single time. This is something a lot of traders do not understand. A lot of traders are of the belief that they should get a strategy and it should work 95% of the time. I wish there were a strategy that can give you a 95% win rate. I wish. I'm begging. Please, somebody find it. I'm begging. But it's, in my opinion, I've never seen one with such high win rate. You understand? Now, a lot of people would say, well, my win rate is sometimes 30%, right? 40%, 50%, 20%. Why not use a higher percent win rate, well, a different strategy with a higher percent win rate, and just use the same 10 pip stop loss? That's the thing. If I'm using a different strategy, I cannot use the same stop loss. I have to use the strategy as intended. Even if I try to put my style on it, I'm telling you, I've tried. I've tried to trade support resistance, it doesn't work. I've tried to trade trend lines, it doesn't work. Not for me, because this is my personality being injected into the strategy. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope it does make sense. Any other questions before we close off? Anybody? My apologies again for anybody who was listening and it froze and I really not sure what happened with my computer. But, I mean, it is what it is, right? You have to adapt. That's literally what trading is about, adapting. All right, any other questions? Anybody else before we close off? It's a quite short one today or this month. Yeah. All right, so guys, I think if there aren't any questions, I'll end it early here. Yeah, if you have any questions, again, you can always reach out to me on Telegram, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, email, whatever. It's at Ikata Trading. You'll see it right somewhere here, I think, right here. And yeah, I really hope that you guys have a great, what's my take on GBP USD? So let me check. I'm afraid to open back. I'm afraid. Let me just check it on my phone really quickly. All right. So GBP USD, more sells, absolutely more sells. Nothing about GBP USD tells me buys. Nothing, literally. Everything about GBP USD says sell. I could be absolutely wrong. The beautiful thing about that is that I don't have an entry for it. So I can be wrong. It could maybe buy from right where it is right now. But in terms of a directional bias, I would say sells on GBP USD. Nothing about it says buy. So why should I go and try to go against that momentum? That's a friction transaction. Yeah? So, my friends, brothers, sisters, everyone listening live or via recording on Cam's YouTube channel, I really hope that you enjoyed. Again, my sincerest apologies for the little interruption in the stream. And yeah, I really hope that you have a safe trading month this month, safe trading week. For those of you who don't use stop losses, I highly advise that you begin. For those of you who do, please remember proper stop loss placement, proper risk management. And yeah, I will see you guys very soon. And be sure to hit subscribe on the Trading Nut YouTube channel. Hit like on this video and all if you found it to be worth your while. And yeah, have a great one, guys. See you soon.